Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learning with Jelly. So, today is going to be our last lesson in the second module to talk about the last data type that we're going to discuss, which are Boolean data types or true and false. I highly encourage that if you've missed any lesson in this module, please go back because it's a great foundation of your Python skills needed to become a data analyst to properly explore and visualize your data. So let's look at our agenda for today. So we're going to define exactly what a Boolean data type is, and we are going to utilize Boolean expressions to filter data. And we're going to discuss advanced filtering in a future module. So variables that are Boolean data types. So variables that have two levels are sometimes stored as what we consider binary variables, 0 and a 1. So maybe 1 could be bought a car, 0 not bought a car, right? So even a variable like that is considered binary. Has a disease, do not have a disease. That is also considered a binary variable. Male versus female, if it only has two levels, is also considered a binary variable. And they are very common when you try to use comparison operators in data filtering. So, an example, equal to would be the double equal sign in Python, not equal to would be the exclamation equal to sign, and so forth. And they're very common in conditional statements, which we're going to see in the next module about if else statements. So let's look at some examples of using Boolean comparison operators. So I have two objects, A and B, two variables. A is assigned to 5 and B is assigned to 3 because a single equal sign is an assignment operator. And I want to print out, is A equal to B? Now we know 5 is not equal to 3, so it should print out false. So that is the example of a Boolean comparison operator. So how can we use this to actually filter data? And this is what we're going to see a lot more in future modules, okay? So I'm importing a certain package that's going to help me filter data, and we're going to discuss packages later. But pretty much, I am going to read in some data. And inside of the data folder in GitHub, so there's a link to this notebook in the description below, I have a students.csv file. And I'm just going to look at the beginning of this file. So the method is .head on the object data frame. So when I look at this is the data set that I'm given to explore. It has information about mathematical scores, gender, ID, GPA, etc. And so now I can filter for only class B. So in this case, I'm going to call the data frame object, and inside of brackets, because it's indexing, I'm going to call the name of the variable that I'm interested in, which is class in my data set. And I only want to filter where class is equal to class B, and B is stored as a string. And then I'm going to go ahead and look at this new object. And so now I see in the class variable, I just see B with the index numbers of that row. Okay. So I can also filter for race equals 6. So in this case, I have this none here. So we're going to call the object that stores our data, which is the data frame. And we're going to index that. So we're going to say we want where the data frame's variable race is equal to 6. And 6 is an integer. Okay. And then we're going to call race6.head. And now we get out two values where it's race equal to 6. Okay. So this is how it's actually doing a Boolean. It's going through every row to say, this is true for this row, or this is false for this row. This is true for this row. This is false for this row. And it's returning all of the truths. So in summary, Boolean variable types execute as true or false. They can be used to compare variables together, and they also can be used to filter our data. So that is the end of module 2. I hope you have enjoyed learning about data types from strings, floats, integers, and booleans. Stay tuned for the next module where we're going to discuss about how we can iterate through data and how we can work with collections such as dictionaries, lists, and for loops. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye bye.